Right, so I've realized I've actually missed another person above. So they might be thinking, two people actually. If they have guessed the previous ones, then they might think I've forgotten about them, but there's two more people I'm actually missing. So I'm going to go back to them. Um, are they an asset in the arena? I think they're really cocky in the arena, and they can kind of do stuff, but they're also always dying. Like they're all nearly dying. They're kind of like the maverick of slipping on a banana peel, crashing into like a massive pile of rocks and crawling out from the bottom still alive. Um, and there's something entertaining about that, but you do sort of want them to maybe pare it back a little. Um, I really like this person. I almost love them like family. And I think we do trust each other, but maybe because we don't see enough depth in each other, I think we might not have an especially deep understanding um, of each other. And that might be why it's like almost a playground friendship where it's really fun, but we refuse, and it would be almost weird if we saw too much depth in the other. Rate the connection out of 100. Maybe like either a 39 or like a 77. But when it's 77, it feels kind of like we're dead, doing like a strange, this is it, like we're as good as we'll ever be, kind of floaty, this is getting cut from the main bit, kind of severed section together. We're like in a weird sort of Converse ad together, and she really likes Converse and is trying to talk me into it, but I'm not supposed to be in the ad. But I do really like her by the end of it. How upset would I be if they stole my man? I don't think they're the type to do that, but I think they're annoyed about it. I think they would maybe want to do that more, but they can't figure out how to nail it. And I think I'm actually kind of similar. I think that's what we relate on. Maybe kind of being too nice to ever really do that. And yet kind of not nice at all. Would I ask them to be my bridesmaid? I think they do a terrible job and they know it. And I think they wouldn't sit through a wedding. And if they did, they do it like for family. But they probably wouldn't show up. And if they did, I feel like it'd be weird because we're almost so close that ever only speaking to them for 5 minutes at an event would be weird. Like, this is someone I know actually really well. Even though it might not sound that way. What surreal scene are we in? We're in a Skype ad shot with a camera inside an empty aluminium can where there is zero technology, and we keep talking to inanimate objects like they're a phone, but messages actually continue sending. But Skype keeps announcing they're going bust. So the ad is like a dud. And we keep returning to being kind of niche 70s granola Nepo babies, which I hate but she loves. Yeah. And this one I also forgot about on the list, but are they an asset in the arena? I think they think they're like one of the guys to the max. Like they've completely abandoned the makeup counter, even though they could do it and they'd look great. I think they're really cocky about being one of the guys, but they play it off like they don't care. And everyone does really love that about them. Like you will remember this person for that. And you won't be like, oh, they thought, like they actually do nail that niche. But I feel like in the arena, they kind of struggle to see it have any value. But it's kind of maybe less intense than having to do the other stuff to them. But they're still kind of unsure about it. And when we're together, we never know what to say to each other. And yet we're in agreement that we really love each other. So we like each other. We actually really love each other. And we maybe really trust each other. But we're worried about that one. Rate the connection out of 100. I think we're like at a 44. That feels weirdly like an 80. Would I have sent to be my bridesmaid? No. And I think if they came to my wedding, I'd be shocked. And again, I'd be annoyed that I can't spend more time talking to them because they're actually one of my best friends. And it's weird to be at an event together and not have a conversation longer than 5 minutes. Okay, and where we are, we're on a gay cruise together with only the world's most famous zoo animals who are actually hyper literate old men that keep telling us this is better than looking for actual men who have gone extinct. And we keep trying to form an alliance but end up doing a 2-person model UN that is strangely centrist and a rejected porn idea that a guy at a tourist stand had. I think that's what we're trapped in. Every time. And it's one of those friendships where it's so much more than we ever allow it to be. I've also forgotten one person way above, so they might think they're not in this when they really are. But I could... No, I couldn't chuck them in later, so I'll have to do it now. Are they an asset in the arena? I think they're really cocky in the arena, and they're trying to impose rules on it in like only with a career kind of title. And they're always kind of improvising, running between sets, but actually they're not good in any of them. They're just really confident, so people keep thinking they are. like they're actually potentially the most socially confident person ever, and they know how to play their cards right, and they're always pretending to be like an awkward reject, like awkward clever reject instead, because for some reason they think that's the valuable, like that's the better angle. Do I like, love, or trust this person? This person was my first kiss. I like them. I kind of love them. And I think we don't trust each other, but we also maybe trust each other more than we trust anyone else. The connection out of 100. I think these days we're like at a weird 57, trying to claim it's more than that. How upset would I be if they stole my man? I think they're always trying to play games with me. And I like try and kind of be like, here you go, there you go. And it always ends up being lackluster and yet so like frustrating. And I think they could steal my man because they have a really specific method. But they would just do it to prove a point. And then they kind of reduce me to that level. But they'll make it feel like it's a fucking, like, a 900-page old novel type of a thing. Which only pisses me off more. Would you ask? I would not want this person to be a bridesmaid at my wedding. I think they'd make it all about themselves. And I kind of wouldn't want them in the crowd either. Even though I really do like them, I just feel like I'm not sure that's the audience for that. What surreal scene are we always in together? Did I write this down? I think I did. Okay, I think we're like in an abandoned hospital, dressing up those like glossy kind of porcelain baby dolls as each other and shaking them around and saying this and that is exactly how you are in bed, and no one could want that, whilst being extremely suspicious of each other and drifting between weird kind of like baby doll dresses and like faceless observers by a criminal investigation board. Where did I get to? Okay. So, let me turn the light on. Are they an asset in the arena? I think this person is always near dead, and they keep getting like broadcast, because they're like so nonchalant about the fact that they're always dying that it's kind of funny, yet they also give too many fucks about it. Do I like, love, and or trust them? I like this person. I think we both struggle with love, and we see that in each other, so we don't bother, and yet that makes us love each other more. And I think I do trust them, but we wouldn't pull up for each other. Rate the connection out of 100. Weirdly, like, they would, if they bother watching, they would be surprised, I think, for me to say we're at like a 56, or sometimes maybe even a 70. But in the same breath, I think we both understand that we could only ever be like 30 to each other. How upset would I be if they stole my man? I've never seen any of the... Like, I've never met a romantic partner of this person, and they've never met a romantic partner of mine. And I think we'd both be critics, but it's because we kind of don't trust each other. And I think we would be kind of really stoned, kind of two-line response to each other's relationship that somehow cuts through the bullshit, and it's like, oh yeah, that's exactly what that is. And yet it wouldn't touch cloth on nuance, depth, or complexity, and yet we'd kind of believe each other. You're like, yeah, it could very well be as simple as what you've just said. Would I ask them to be a bridesmaid? No. And I don't think they'd come to my wedding. And if they did, I'd like having them there. Maybe, weirdly. I think they kind of, more than anyone else, understand time and place, even though they're sort of breaking the rules all of the time. And what surreal setting are we in together? I was quite proud of this one. So we're in a bad sort of ad for the first ever skate park, and we keep getting handed cigars, but as soon as the director says to cut and restart, we completely forget the script. We completely forget the script, but weirdly remember each other from another time. So, I think every time he cuts, we completely forget our past, but as soon as we see each other, we still recognize each other, and we kind of remember the script, but we don't trust each other, and we think the other person doesn't remember. So we repeat the same script again, like it's nothing. And then eventually we start burning our feet with the cigar dust, triggering like weird glitches in the space. Okay, with this one, are they an asset in the arena? I think they're trying to like booby trap people in the arena. I think they're trying to catch people out, but you kind of love them for it. I think they're like cheeky, and they're really sexual, and they're like booby trapping everyone, and you're kind of up for it. Like, they're a real Jimin from BTS. Like, they're like the sexy shorty that's always running around, kind of like, I know exactly how to get you in my little trap. So not really an asset. You'd be a bit scared of them. I'm kind of like a Tay. I'm like on my own goofy little journey. And then there's other people trying to trap me, and I'm kind of conscious of it, but I could be easy to get. Do you like, love, and or trust them? This one's kind of hard to tell. I think we love each other more than we like each other. And we sort of trust each other, but I think that's more beneficial to her than to me. Rate the connection out of 100. Maybe like 65. How upset would I be if they stole my man? This one is another one you couldn't leave your man with. She'd be very quick with it no matter what she's wearing, or how she acts. She would steal your man quickly. And I would cry about it. I would be upset about it, but then I'd think I knew it. Would I want them to be a bridesmaid? No, I think I'd be conscious, and I'd be trying to cater my wedding to her. And I don't think she'd do a good job either. What surreal scene are you in together? I don't think I wrote this one now. I think with this one, we're on an alien planet that has never understood or conceptualized men, and we're in like an almost deep fried and deranged kind of LSD trip that keeps getting more and more like overtly sexual, and we're like trying to scare each other but we're not scared at all. We're like kind of figuring something out, but we're children. Like we're like the child version of us is doing this kind of insane kind of sexual back and forth to almost try and level each other up. And this one, okay, are they an asset in the arena? I think they're kind of like a mum in the arena that doesn't give a fuck about any of her kids. So you can come to her and she'll sound more comforting than she really is. Do you like, love, and or trust them? I kind of like this one. I think we love each other in perhaps a slightly generic and offhand way. And I'm not sure we've tested trust enough. But I trust them like I would kind of like a surrogate mother that I shouldn't trust at all. But that is actually more trusting than the others. Connection out of 100. Like a 56. How upset would I be if they stole my man? They're in a relationship. And I don't think they're the type to do that. But it's not because they're not appealing. I think they're just never... They don't, like, bait as much. They're not a trapper. I asked them to be a bridesmaid. I don't think they'd pull up. And I think it'd be hard having them in the audience as well. I think I'd be conscious of what they're thinking about it. What surreal scene are you always in? I think I'm being chased by this one in Austria or like in the mountains, but at the bottom, and she's in like a perfectly peachy pale pink like masseuse outfit, and her head is all like monstrous teeth, and she's chasing me around to inspect my body, and I'm super scared of it, but I'm also enjoying the run. Like I'm like woohoo, and it feels kind of fun. Like I'm in almost a pixel video game. That's an ad for the gyno. Yeah. Okay, so this one's kind of going back, but we got closer more recently, so I feel like they're here. Are they an asset in the arena? I feel like they're a records keeper in the arena. I feel like they're actually... They might say that about me, but I feel like they track shit better than I do. They might be like the person with the map, but they would pretend that they wouldn't have it. And I think they're like... They're a little softer front face than they really are. Potentially deeper than I give them credit for. But I think if I bumped into them in the arena, we'd like look at each other from a distance, salute, and be like, do we really want to form an alliance? And yet we do hang out often. Do I like, love, and I'll trust them? I think I kind of like this person. And we kind of don't trust loving each other. We weirdly trust each other a lot. But it's too superficial for it to do trust any credit. Rate the connection out of 100. like a 61. Would you ask them to be a bridesmaid? I think they'd be a strange person to have as a bridesmaid. I think they do great wedding photos because they're a photographer. But I think they would kind of be a critic too. What surreal scene are you always in together? Okay. Dun, dun, dun. So we're always on swings, kind of facing each other, but in opposite directions, and like having a deep sounding conversation that is actually just total gibberish, but it's like sort of a relief, and then super, super tiny writing. And it's also like a Vaseline ad for like a pearlescent flavor, but it keeps cutting out and turning a weird dark red where we're almost clobbering each other with massive rocks, but we keep chucking them the other way. Okay, are they an asset in the arena? I feel like they're calming people down in the arena. But they're also sneaky, and they chameleon, and they're youthful and energetic, and you do root for them, and you want to keep them safe, but they might not do the same for you. Do you like, love, and trust them? I really like this person, and I'm trying to really love them, but I'm not sure we trust each other. Rate the connection out of 100, like a 57 with the potential to be like an 89. But I think I really want to be this person's best friend, and it feels like they always should have been there. But the more we try and do it, the more it feels like we're even lower than the 57, trying to figure something out, because we kind of want to get there, but we're not sure how to do it. How upset would you be if they stole your man? I can really see this one stealing my man, but I think she might have similar worries about me. And we're actually more stressed about it than we'd like to admit, but we're more interested in being each other's best friend at the doggy park. Like we if we were dogs, we would like run at each other right away, and we would be like, this is a past life memory that I'm reliving, even though that's not empirically proven. We would be like barking at each other 20 times louder at the doggy park, and then we'd be like, oh, that's weird, and then we'd like try and sniff other bums, and then we'd run back to each other like, this is it, isn't it? And then we'd run around again. Would I like them to be my bridesmaid? I think I'd be conscious they'd outshine me at the wedding, honestly. No matter what, like, I could dress them in a potato sack and they could very well look better than me at the wedding. But I'd want them to be there. I'd love having them there. They feel like a safe, like, kind of person for me in that. And I think we know exactly what the other one's general fears are. So we kind of trickle that in, to be like, I'm aware of it, but we sort of don't resolve it because it will always be there. What surreal scene are you in? So we're like trapped in a weirdly infinite like makeup counter with mirrors everywhere, where every item is useless and the prop, but as soon as you touch it, a bit of it gets applied but on the wrong area of our face, making it shut for a second in dysfunction. whilst I'm trying to book them or train them up to sell every single item in there, but it's weirdly and genuinely therapeutic, and we don't want to leave, but also keep worrying it will be over and trying to prepare for it. Okay, so this one is like an... I don't think this person will watch this video, but this is an older person in my life that was sort of like a mentor to me. And there's two of them. I'll get to the second one after. So are they an asset in the arena? I think they're a classic case of they think the old methods and their version of exactly what's happening right now is going to nail the arena, but we keep kind of being potentially too erratic for them to understand. So they think they know off of having sort of been similar, but it keeps getting more and more like fractured and weird. So they're being tested more than I think they wanted to, but they keep being calm about it and acting like that's okay. Do you like, love, and I trust them? We really like each other. We sort of love each other, and I think we do trust each other. Rate the connection out of 100, like a 50. How upset would I be if they stole my man? They're older, but that's not to say that they couldn't do it. I think they'd be like a pie, kind of with the steam coming out the window, and my guy would run to the pie over me. Like, all of a sudden, he was hungrier than he thought. Would I like them to be my bridesmaid? I think I'd want them in the audience, but I'd be afraid to ask them, so I wouldn't invite them. What surreal scene are we in together? So this one is so accurate and so weird, so I'm sorry. But she's training me up for the Chinese mafia, but keeps saying I could never nail it because I'm white. But I keep somehow wiping the floor with her, and it's like a 7-season series, all hand-drawn in biro and hyper-realistic, and the idea of a retiring blue lamp that's actually a physical representation of her son's mind, who had dreamt me and his mum meeting up at one point when he was like 7 in this exact way and forgot. Right, 32 minutes. I'm getting on to the next one.